All right. Hello. What's going on, everybody? Uh, we present to you the Academia's first webinar, which will be named the and Robotics Process Automation. So we'll cover here what is RPA for business, what are the careers and certifications for RPA, and what some real life experiences of how to use RPA and where to use it. So, to learn more about this technology, this webinar will be free, given to you by Academia, and is co-presented by Anonymous. Now, this robotics process automation free webinar will be presented to you by one of the experts in this field. Uh, his name is Engineer Marvin. He is an ECE, ECT, and MSME. So before we go to the webinar, view we'll give you an overview of his educational background and his work experiences. Okay, so he studied at Bulacan State University and he took up BS Electronics and Communication Engineering. Then in 2018, 3 years after, he took up Masters in Management Engineering at Pamantasan ng Lungsod na Maynila. So, what makes him an expert in this field? Malalaman natin na ang work experience niya is sobrang lawak. Let's see. Back in 2019, he worked as a robotics process automation developer sa DB Schenker, robotics process automation designer sa Lafarge Holcim, automation engineers Ernst Young noong 2017. Tapos ang mga licenses and certifications niya that proves he is one of the best people to talk about this is RPA COFAX Capao, issued 2019. Then meron din siyang license and certification from UiPath, Robotics Process Automation, which is named Advanced UiPath RPA Developer. Meron din siyang experience sa Lean Six Sigma. In fact, yellow belt siya. He's a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt has certification. And then meron din siyang license and certification from Alteryx Design Core back in 2018. Another one is Automation Anywhere Certified Advanced RPA Professional from Automation Anywhere back in 2018. Another one, second to the last, is Work Fusion Automation Essential. Nakuha niya yung certifications Work Fusion back in 2017. And last but not the least, meron siyang accreditation from Blue Prism back in 2017. So, without further ado, I'll give the mic now to Engineer Marvin.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So let me just, all right. So in behalf of Academia and Anonymous, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us today. So para saan ba tong webinar na tong ginawa namin? The very purpose of this webinar is para magkaroon tayo ng idea ano ba yung RPA is all about. No? Dinesign to para sa mga walang idea para sa RPA. So again, my name is Marvin Bersabal and I'll be your speaker for today. So let me just share my screen with you. All right, give me a moment, please. All right, Sir Mel, can you please give me access to share my screen?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay na, sir?
All right, thank you. All right. Okay, so let's start. So ano ba yung mga pag-uusapan natin for this afternoon? So basically, una is i-define natin ano ba yung RPA. So in fact, habang nakikinig kayo sa akin ngayon, madaming processes around the world yung ino-automate using RPA. Madaming ongoing na automation ang nagaganap ngayon. And titingnan din natin a little background lang about sa history ng automation. Balikan lang natin paano ba nagsimula yung automation, then here comes RPA. Then number 2, RPA for businesses. So tingnan natin ano yung mga benefits when once we implement RPA sa mga businesses natin. Ano yung paano to makakapag-transform ng isang organization, or ano yung magiging effect nito sa isang company, right? So number 3, titingnan din natin yung mga careers and certification. So ano ba yung RPA in the future? Okay ba to? Parang kung titingnan natin yung current situation natin sa mundo ngayon, ano ba yung promising nitong promising na maibibigay ni RPA sa atin? So ano yung titingnan din natin, ano yung mga RPA key roles? So ano yung possible na career na pwede natin pasukan sa RPA? And titingnan din natin yung RPA tools na available in the market, okay? And yung mga certification na ino-offer nila. And lastly, yung mga real life example. So dito, yung mga case study na ginagawa ng mga company, or magpapakita rin ako dito ng sample RPA robots na ginawa ko before. All right, so wag na natin patagalin. Simulan natin. So very quick lang, no, balikan natin yung history ng automation. So alam naman natin before, century ago or decades ago, yung mga processes or even yung mga bagay-bagay na ginagawa ng tao is ginagawa manually. So wala pang mga machine, hindi pa uso. But then again, nung around 1500s to 1700s, or mas kilala na agrarian wave, na-imbento ni Johannes Gutenberg yung printing press. That was year 1439. Then si Jethro Tull invents the seed drill. So si Jethro ay isa siyang agriculturist actually. Nag-imbento siya ng isang machine kung saan makakapagtanim siya sa bukid ng mas mabilis. Okay? That was around 1500s to 1700 or agrarian wave. So next era ng automation is yung the industrial wave. So dito very familiar tayo kasi ito na yung transition ng new manufacturing processes. So meaning, mula sa hand production method, ginawa na siyang machine. So nagsimula na dito yung paggamit ng maraming machine. So in mga industry, so gumamit na. And ayan, dyan na invento yung cotton gin, yung assembly belts na ginagamit sa mga industry, and origin of term workflow automation. And noong 1950s, doon din na nakilala yung Turing test. Ito yung tinetest yung machine kung may ability ba to exhibit intelligent behavior. So that was 1750 to 1978, which is mas kilala siya na industrial wave. Right? So next, eto na, dito na pumasok yung information wave around 1978 or 2004. Yung FileNet or and then eventually inacquire siya ni IBM. Nag-develop sila ng digital workflow management system. So dito rin sa era na to, yung Motorola nag-pioneer sila ng Six Sigma, which aims to advance the quality management. Then dito rin nagsimula yung enterprise resource planning, and kung mapapansin natin, around this time nag-emerge yung robotics process automation. But during that time, hindi pa ganun kakilala si RPA. Hindi pa ganun kasikat sa market kasi bago pa lang siya that time. So, hindi siya masyadong pinapansin. Then, nakilala lang siya around 2010 onwards. So, which is, yun nga, pagpasok ng mga intelligent automation. Dito, nakilala si Siri from Apple, yung pag-create ni Alexa. Familiar naman tayo doon, which is yung Amazon yung nag-create nun. Alright? So, ngayon, familiar na tayo sa history ng automation. Tingnan naman natin ano ba yung RPA. So, what is RPA? So, number one, RPA mimics what people do. Okay, so let's set the expectation here. Kasi, pag narinig natin robotics process automation, the first thing na papasok sa isip natin is it's a physical robot na gumagawa ng mga processes like sa mga industry, di ba? Sa mga industrial plant. So usually diyan madaming mga robot diyan mga machines. But this time when we say robotics process automation, it's not a physical robot. It's actually a software robot na ginagawa yung ginagawa ng agent. So it mimics what people do by autonomously logging in. For example, yung isang agent is magla-log in sa isang application. Say for example, SAP application. So instead na yung agent yung gagawa, yung robot yung gagawa. So iyon yung ginagawa ni RPA. Kung ano mismo ginagawa ng agent is gagawin niya step by step. Alright, number two, is RPA is smart software that enables rule-based outcome. Okay, so dito, ang RPA is meron din siyang capacity to calculate. So kaya diyang RPA can do calculation in just a fraction of second, no? And not only that, kaya din niyang mag data manipulation. For example, an Excel file that needs to create a formula, something like that. So RPA kaya din niyang gawin 'yon. So marami pa iba. It's madami pa tayong maiisip na example on that. All right. So number 3, it conducts high volume repeatable tasks. So that human finds mundane, make errors, and take a long time to finish. So usually, pagka agent or tao yung gumagawa, ulit-ulit na lang ang ginagawa. But robotics process automation, kahit ulit-ulit yan, as long na naka-deploy na tong RPA natin, is magagawa niya. And usually, pag tao yung gumagawa, subject to error yan eh. Unlike pag si robot na, si RPA na yung gagawa, very minimal yung magiging error niya since as discussed dun sa number 2, rule-based na siya, naka-rule-based. And mas mabilis siya compare sa human. Right? The good thing with RPA then is RPA can process 24/7. So pwede natin siyang i-run ng 24 hours and 7 days a week. And no bad days for RPA, unlike pag mga human. So minsan walang gana magtrabaho, but RPA sunod-sunod yan, and RPA wala yang sick leave. sa human, alam natin pag trabahuin mo yan ng 24/7, the following day for sure magsi-sick leave yan. Okay? So kaya niya kahit high volume, kaya niyang i-process. All right? Number 4, RPA configured by operation employees using a flow chart of procedure. So dito RPA, low technical barriers siya. Bakit? Kasi hindi natin kailangan ng high programming skills dito to configure the robot. So meaning even a non-technical people or non-technical staff can use drag and drop process designer. All right? And lastly, it operates multi-step tasks. As mentioned, it can connect to different applications. It's either Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, ticketing system like ServiceNow. Kaya niya makakonect dyan. Even Java-based, web-based, ano pa, mga mainframe kayang mag-connect ni RPA. So, gagawin lang ni RPA yung ginagawa mismo ni human, ni agent. Alright, so meaning, when we say robotics process automation, so when we say robotic, it's an entities which mimic human actions are called robot. Process, it means sequence of steps which lead to meaningful activity, and automation is any process which is done by a robot to reduce the involvement of human. So given this definition of RPA, we can conclude that RPA, robotics process automation, is the technology used to automate and execute repetitive business processes. All right. So how does RPA work? So paano ba ito gumagana? As mentioned kanina, when we say RPA, it is a software robot. So makikita natin siya nagraran din sa machine natin. So it can log into any application. It can move files and folders. So for example, yung task mo is kailangan mag-copy ng files from one folder to another, kayang gawin niya ni RPA. It can open emails and attachment. For example, isa kang agent na ang work mo is to check yung email mo, if meron bang ticket na dumating sa'yo na you need some action. So RPA can do that. So RPA can open an email, then save the attachment and analyze the attachment, whatever attachment it is. No? Excel, PDF, Word. No? And RPA can connect to system API or application programming interface. So pag sinabi natin API, ito yung way ng mga application, ng mga system to talk to each other. So RPA can actually connect to that. RPA can also extract and process structured and semi-structured content from documents, PDFs, emails, and forms. Scrape data from web. For example, you need some data or data table from website na kailangan for a certain process. So kaya din yan. Kaya din RPA magkuha ng mga data. Copy and paste data. So yan. Read and write databases. So kaya din niyang mag-interact with database and make calculations. So any calculation, kayang gawin yan ni RPA. Alright? So now, very familiar na tayo. Ano ba talaga yung RPA? Paano ba to? Saan ba to ginagamit? Now, tingnan natin, bakit ba natin kailangan yung RPA? So why do we need to implement robotics process automation? Ano ba yung, as an organization, as a company, once na in-implement natin yung RPA, ano yung benefits natin na makukuha dito? So, una is yung productivity improvement. So, of course, pagka nag-implement tayo ng RPA sa company natin or sa organization natin, generally speaking, yung RPA is less prone to error. As long na tama yung dineploy nating robot. I mean, tama yung pagkaka-strip, tama yung pagkakagawa. So, very high yung accuracy niya. Like for example, if human yung gagawa, or let's say agent, tendencies, magkaroon siya ng typographical error. So, if the task is related to that, for example, data typing. So, pagka human yung gumawa, very prone to error siya. Unlike kay RPA, pag si RPA yung nag-data entry, nag-type, very less error yung magagawa niya. Like, yan nga, typing, copying of information from one system to another. So, very accurate si RPA. So, paano pa niya mai-improve yung productivity? So, scalability. Ability to quickly deploy as many bots as needed. So, what do I mean by that? Kasi, once na nakapag-implement na tayo ng RPA, for example, this process na in-RPA natin, in-automate natin, is dineploy natin sa isang machine. So, gagawin niya yung process na yon since naka-deploy siya dun sa machine na yon, then once na-realize nung organization na, hey, kailangan natin dagdagan yung robot na gumagawa ng process na to. Very simple lang yung pag-deploy nung robot since meron na tayo nung script na nag-work sa machine na yan. So ilalagay lang natin yung code natin sa another machine and then dalawa na sila magpa-process nung business process na ginagawa ni RPA. So ganun lang siya. Service continuity. Bots can provide predictable and dependable work 24/7. So no interruption of work to. Kasi once na niran natin yung robot, tuloy-tuloy lang siya magraran as long na meron siyang data na iraran. Okay? Bot can work tirelessly, hindi yan napapagod. Kahit 24/7 pa yan. And can work without break. Hindi niya kailangan mag-lunch break. Alright? So, ease of use, easy to implement, configure, reconfigure, and maintain. So, meaning, yung mga existing na system natin, madali, hindi natin kailangan palitan. So, it will remain in place. Unlike yung mga traditional automation natin na nagre-require ng extensive developer resource to integrate yung to integrate application across another application. But RPA, hindi natin kailangan gawin yon kasi meron siyang capacity to connect to API. Alright? And lastly, agility can adapt to demand fluctuation. So very consistent siya. So meaning it will behave at the same manner. Kahit sabihin natin na nag-process na siya ng 1,000 line items, 1,000 item na ginawa niya. Pag si RPA yung gumawa niya, the same manner lang din yung gagawin niya kahit pang 1,000 na siyang item. Unlike alam natin pag human ay nagpa-process niyan, napapagod din yan eh. So yung effort niya sa una niyang paggawa compared to let's say pang 700 na items, medyo mabagal na siya doon kasi pagod na. But kay RPA, consistent yung pag-process niya. Regardless kung kahit gaano kadami pa yung volume na ipa-process niya. So by that, mai-improve natin yung productivity ng organization natin or ng company natin. Alright? So bakit pa natin kailangan? It is for operational efficiency. So basically, ayan, RPA is faster speed compared to manual processes. So mas mabilis talaga siya. Improve service delivery and user experience. So of course, ikaw as an employee, pagka tayo is paulit-ulit yung ginagawa natin, somehow maboboard tayo. But this time, pagka ginawa na ni RPA yung mga ulit-ulit, mga repetitive tasks, tayo is makakapag-invest tayo ng time natin dun sa mga more engaging and more strategic work. So, ma-offload natin yung mga manual tasks, yung mga paulit-ulit na lang. So, hayaan na lang natin na yung robot yung gumawa since paulit-ulit na lang siya. So, as human, mas gusto natin ma-involve tayo dun sa mga decision making, right? Mga strategic work niya. And then, it increase in regulatory compliance with embedded in correct workflow design. So you don't have to worry about the security of RPA kasi ayun nga, safe ang RPA, it follows rules. All right? So and third reason why we need to implement robotics process automation is cost optimization. So FTE redeployment. So ayun nga, yung resource is makakapag-focus na siya sa more important tasks. So hindi na yung paulit-ulit. And eliminate need for expensive system application integration needs. So as mentioned kanina earlier, very useful to sa mga legacy system. Kasi yung mga legacy system natin, yung mga sinaunang mga application natin is wala pa siyang mga API eh. So dito, pag gumamit tayo ng RPA, hindi natin kailangan ng resource to develop yung yung high-level programming or high-level integration ng existing application. Alright? And it reduce, if not eliminate losses due to reprocessing. So, ayun nga, pagka human yung gumagawa, very subject to error. So, tendency, reprocess. Uulitin niya yon. So, merong merong loss yon na cost. So, while kay RPA, kapag siyang gumawa, dahil na-eliminate natin yung cost or na-eliminate natin yung reprocessing, mas nakakatipid tayo. Alright? So now, how does RPA transform an organization? So, analytics and visibility. Dito pumapasok yung mga end-to-end process tracking. For example, halimbawa, merong 500 line items na kailangang i-process si RPA. So, doon, sa 500 line items na yon is nag-error yung 5. So, most likely, mas makakapag-focus doon si agent na, bakit ba nag-error to? Mas ma-handle niya ng properly kasi very specific. Ito yung mga nag-error, ito yung mga successful. So, meron kasing capacity si RPA na ilag niya, okay, out of 500 na pre-process ko, 495 yung successful, then meron 5 nag-error. Then from that, i-check yan ni agent. So doon, mas na-handle, nagkakaroon tayo ng visibility dun sa mga pinaprocess ni robot. Then customer experience and satisfaction. So mas nagiging value adding sa mga customer and employee. Kasi bukod sa mabilis siya, so since mabilis yung RPA, yung paggawa niya ng output, so tendency, nagiging masaya yung customer natin. Pwede rin siya magtrabaho 24/7, tulad nga ng na-mention ko kanina. And it reduces processing mistake. Alright? And compliance, risk, and control. So very consistent si RPA. So once na in-implement natin tong RPA sa organization natin, nare-reduce talaga yung error natin. And lastly, workforce value. So, movement from repetitive, monotonous routine to higher value tasks such as, but not limited to, error and exception handling, user in human asset development. So, yan yung mga reason or rather mga benefits na makukuha natin kay RPA once na in-implement natin to sa organization natin. Alright, so future of RPA. Ano ba when we say RPA, ano ba yung nakikita natin do? Nakikita natin dito, is it something na andyan pa rin ba after 5 years or after 10 years? Ginagamit pa rin ba natin to? Kasi as mentioned, around 2010 to 2015 lang siya talagang na-notice ng market. So ano na yung future nito? So tingnan natin, ito according to Research and Markets, it was published noong March 2020 lang na $7.2 billion Robotics Process Automation Market Outlook by 2025. Ayan. So ine-expect na $7.2 billion yung magiging magiging value niya, and yung market growth niya will be 32.6% according to sa study na ginawa ng Research and Market. So ito naman, July 2020 lang yung study na to na kinonduct ng Grandview Research. Sabi dito, the market size is expected to reach $25.66 billion US dollars by 2017 and will increase by 40.6 over forecast period. All right? So ayan yung mga news about RPA. So Robotics Process Automation market growth trends and forecast 2020 to 2025. So it will increase by 1,549.6 million US dollar in 2019 and expected to reach 7,109. Can you imagine? Times 2027 almost. Alright. Okay, ito statistics na ginawa ng statista. Kung mapapansin natin noong 2017, ito yung market ng RPA. So very maliit lang siya noong 2017, around 0.8. Pero kung mapapansin natin, as if parang exponential yung paglago niya. So right now, 2020 tayo, andito siya 4. Pero by 2023, it is expected to increase by 10.4. So more than half. No? Madodoble siya, halos, may get. Alright, so RPA predicts 2020 how COVID-19 will transform the automation landscape. Alright, given the situation natin ngayon, naka-work from home setup tayo, hindi tayo makapasok sa mga offices natin. So, ano ba yung magiging effect ni ano ba yung magiging role ni RPA dyan? So, yan, yung article na binabanggit dyan. Then, Robotics Process Automation, market size to reach $1,930 million by 2025. Wow. Alright. So, ito recent lang. August 25 lang. August 25, 2020 pinablish. So, sinabi lang dyan yung trend ni RPA by 2020 to 2026. Alright. So, let's, by that, alam naman natin na nakita natin kung ano ba talaga yung future ni RPA starting from now. But let's take a look doon sa mga quotes, mga reputable name and brand. Okay, sabi ni John Cryan, siya yung CEO of Deutsche Bank. In our bank, we have people doing work like robots. Tomorrow, we will have robots behaving like people. It doesn't matter if we, as a bank, will participate in these changes or not. It is going to happen. Wow. So dito naalala ko yung story ni Nokia. So alam naman natin decades ago or couple of years ago, no? Pag sinabi nating cellphone, the first brand na papasok sa mind natin is no other than Nokia, no? Pero anong nangyari sa kanila? Nung time na pasikat na si Android, hindi nila inadapt yung ganong system. So what happened nung 2013, sila from 50% na share sa market demand, bumaba yon into 5%. So talagang na-bankrupt sila during that time kasi hindi nila inadapt yung change. So parang somehow related yung story na yun sa sinasabi ni John, which is the CEO of Deutsche Bank. Sabi ng McKinsey Digital, RPA is a promising new development in business automation that offers a potential return of investment of 20 to 200% in the first year. All right. The relationship between technology and people has to change in the future for the better. And I think RPA is one of the great tools to enable that change. Sabi yan ni Leslie Wilcox from London School of Economics professor. And lastly, sabi ni Dan Kelly, CEO and co-founder ng Quark, automation doesn't replace talent, but helps organization to better utilize its talent. All right. Okay, so given that, ano ba yung mga possible na maging role if or sa isang center of excellence na RPA team? So ano yung mga possible na key role? Alright, so simulan natin sa RPA Business Analyst. So RPA Business Analyst, it identifies process subject matter expert who will lead process definition, establish business rules. So sila yung, usually sila yung kumo-connect sa mga agent natin, sa mga research natin to analyze yung process na ginagawa nila. So titingnan nila if yung agent, yung ginagawa niya day by day is candidate for RPA. Ano ba to? Repetitive ba to? Standard ba yung process? Ulit-ulit ba? Mataas ba yung volume? So sila yung nag-a-analyze nun. And once na nakita ni RPA Business Analyst na, hey, this is good for RPA, this is good for automation, then papasok si RPA developer. So ang gagawin niya, So RPA developer, siya yung magdi-design and magde-develop ng automation workflow and script. So basically, siya yung gagawa na ng mismong robot. So we have RPA solution architect. So pag sinabi nating solution architect, siya yung nag-define ng architecture ng RPA solution natin. And he or she will be the one to check the end-to-end performance of the solution. All right. RPA infrastructure engineer, install and troubleshoot servers. Also, we have the RPA change manager. It lead and drive change management across stakeholders. So of course, when we implement RPA, kasi ano yan from manual task gagawin natin siyang digital. So meron yan change management. So kailangan natin ng RPA change manager on that part to transition. So we have RPA supervisor. So continuously improve robots operational performance. And RPA service support. So sinusupport nila yung mga deployed RPA solutions. So basically ito yung mga nasa production na naglaro na ng robots. So sila yung once na nagkaroon ng issue, for example, nag-down yung system, so sila yung kino-contact natin. And on top of that role, so we have yung RPA sponsor and RPA champion. So respectively, they establish technology as an enterprise-wide strategic priority. And yung RPA champion, they lead and drive development testing, implementation, adoption, change management, and performance monitoring. All right. So ano ba yung mga available RPA tools in the market? So tingnan natin. Okay. So dito, mapapansin natin yung nasa upper right side, sila yung leaders. And then mapapansin natin yung UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and Edgeware. Sila yung mga leaders ng RPA solution. So para mas makita natin, so this is the table. So we have the leaders, strong performance, and contender. Now, this study was conducted last quarter last year. So nung by Forrester Wave. So quarter 4 ng 2019. So makita natin leaders are UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and Edgeware. So ayan, then of course meron din mga strong performer and contender. All right. So ano yung mga RPA certification na available din sa market? So this time kinuha ko lang yung top 3 natin. So which is yung UiPath. May ino-offer silang certification, RPA Associate, and Advanced RPA Developer. And also, madami rin silang ino-offer na online training. Like, nagbibigay din sila sa mga solution designer, sa mga infrastructure engineer. Okay? Pero so far, RPA Associate and Advanced RPA Developer lang ino-offer nilang certification. Okay? Automation Anywhere, so meron din silang ino-offer na Advanced RPA Professional and Certified Master RPA Professional. And si Blue Prism, to medyo madami silang ino-offer na certification. Nag-offer sila ng developer, professional developer, solution designer, installation engineer, ROM, architect, and technical architect. All right. So, tingnan natin ano ba yung mga some good activities to automate using RPA. So, sa mga company natin, sa mga organization natin, iba-iba yung mga processes na ginagawa natin, So, ito as long na yung process is standard, repetitive, and high volume, masasabi natin na candidate talaga siya sa RPA. And makikita natin yung cost reduction pag na-meet yung mga ganong criteria na repetitive, high volume. But this activity, ito yung mga sample lang to, but we are not limited to this one. So, sales processes, ito yung like updating sales scorecards to agent. So, ulit-ulit lang siya, repetitive. So, instead na si agent yung gagawa, let the robot do it for you. RPA can conduct credit check. So, yan, paulit-ulit lang yan. Underwriting, data entry. So, any data entry, RPA can do that. So policies, policy serving, update to customer information, including bank account details, claims processing, so process claims, payments, and pre-approval amounts. So we have finance. So any process ng finance, automate daily bank reconciliation, process low risk payments, okay? So we have payroll, employee status changes, new hire recruitment and onboarding, account receivable and account payable, invoice processing, inventory management, report creation, updating CRM data, super installation and data migration, vendor onboarding. So basically, any RPA technology is particular applicable to, so any process basta consistent and routine, high volume, prone to human error, limited in requiring a person to make decision, and manual entry. So I'll show you a sample RPA na create ko before. So yung process na to is a journal entry posting. So ang ginagawa niya is sine-check niya yung queue or yung ticketing system ng company kung merong ready for processing. So titingnan niya yung ticket and then ida-download niya yung attachment. Then from that attachment, i-analyze niya yon and ipopost to sa SAP. Then after niyang ipost sa SAP, i-inform niya yung requester na, hey, I'm done processing this ticket and it was successful, something like that. So give me a moment and I'll show you a sample video. All right. All right. Okay, let me play this video. All right. Okay. All right. So with that, so yun yung sample robot natin. And thank you. Thank you everyone. So I hope nagkaroon tayo ng idea what RPA is all about.
Hello, sir. Hello, Sir Marvin.
Hello?
Yeah, si Ramel po ito. We have few questions from our participants, no? Okay lang ba,
Alright.
sir?
Sure.
Okay, so question from Gerard Michael Merto. What are the pros and cons of RPA?
Okay, so dun sa pro, so nabanggit ko naman yung mga pro kanina. So basically makakatipid yung company, so less error siya. But however, pagka nag-implement tayo ng RPA, yung mga consequence niya is makikita natin pagka hindi standard yung process. So kasi automation is not always the solution. So yung may mga company kasi na basta nag-i-implement ng RPA not knowing na yung process pala nila is hindi pa standard. So kailangan mag-deep dive muna doon. So once na in-implement agad si RPA, so na yung process is hindi ganun ka-mature for RPA. So doon hindi natin makikita yung benefits agad ng RPA. So minsan RPA is not always the solution. So especially pag yung process natin is not repeatable or madaming what do you call that? Madaming exception. So yon. Pag ang isang process madaming exception, basically hindi siya ganun makikita yung kaagad benefits ng RPA. Ayun.
Okay, so we have another question from RJ Javier. Sir, I studied RPA and use it to company. UiPath daw po yung gamit niya. Hindi siya seasoned programmer and kulang sa XP. And meron siyang difficulty noon in using selectors. Any tips daw using selectors, especially in remote desktop?
Okay, so hindi ko sure kung ano yung application na in-automate niya. But selector kasi is nagwo-work siya pagka, halimbawa, let's say, example na lang is web-based yung in-automate niya. So, yung selector is kailangan natin gawing dynamic. So, usually hindi siya nagwo-work, nag-fail talaga yung selector kapag yung ino-automate natin is pabago-bago yung, let's say, yung ID. So, kailangan gawin nating dynamic yung selector natin para anything na mag-change dun sa application, makaka-cope up si RPA. So yun, doon kailangan talaga mag-undergo siya ng stress test para makita natin, let's say, itong process na to, what if nagbago na yung data na nilagay, makikita pa rin ba yun ni robot? Makiklik pa ba ni robot yung button na yun? So by that, magwo-work ng maayos yung selector natin.
Okay. Sir, meron pang question. Okay lang ba, sir?
Okay, sure. Sige, try natin.
From Nair Villarosa, possible din po ba na ma-solve ni RPA ang reCAPTCHA?
Okay, so yung CAPTCHA is dinesign talaga siya to avoid robot So I think no, hindi niya kaya yon. So it's more on artificial intelligence. So ayun, hindi niya kaya.
Okay, may mga present kayo, sir, na RPA tools kanina. Ano daw po yung marirecommend nyo the most, sabi ni Sir Reg Robles?
Yun. So nakagamit na ako ng iba't ibang RPA tool, pero ang recommend ko talaga is naging bias UiPath. UiPath.
UiPath talaga.
Yeah, I can attest to that kasi makita naman natin na number 1 siya in market, pero personally, I can attest to that na UiPath is the best.
Knowing na may certification kayo sa almost 5. Tama ba, sir? Na RPA
Yes.
tools?
Yeah.
So, may question dito, sir. I-chat ko muna kung pwedeng sagutin to.
Okay, sige.
Medyo personal atang question to. Okay.
Ano yan?
Ayan, yan. Chat ko po.
Okay, sige. Sige. Question ni Rick Supelana. Yes, nag-work kasi ako doon. So, sa Lapard Solsim before. And that's process. One of the processes na in-automate ko is yung journal entry posting. So, nagkaroon, after ma-implement yung RPA R2R, okay, so yung name kasi nung department is record to report, so in-implement namin yung RPA doon, which is yung journal entry posting. And nakatulong yung RPA kasi hindi na si human yung nagpa-process noon. I'm not sure kung kilala niya ako pero hindi ako familiar sa kanya, and paano niya nalaman na sa Holcim yon, sa Lapard Holcim. But yeah, may mga colleagues ako na can attest to that, na nag-benefits yung team nila using that RPA kasi nakasave, mas mabilis na process, hinahayaan lang nila na yung robot yung mag-process nung posting, journal entry posting nila.
Yun, upon searching, sir, napansin ko yung mostly na openings for RPA developer na job position is on, what do you call this, call center industry or on BPO. Bakit kaya? Ano kaya yun?
Kasi usually pag sa BPO, alam naman natin yung mga processes dyan kasi repetitive ulit-ulit lang yan halos same yan yung BPO sa yung mga shared services. Pinagkaiba lang kasi ang BPO madaming kinekater, I mean iba-ibang company, pero yung shared services focus sa isa. So but nevertheless yung mga ginagawa nila is almost the same lang, so ulit-ulit, kaya mapapansin natin doon talaga very swak yung RPA kasi repetitive, high volume.
Meron pa dito, sir. Marami-rami pang tanong. Okay lang ba?
Sige.
Sabi ni Sir Gerard Merto, can you share some challenges na na-encounter nyo po in using RPA?
One of the challenges talaga is yung pagka along the way, yung requirements gathering. Okay, so halimbawa na-define na yung okay, ito yung scope ng process natin. Ito yung scope na i-automate. So, syempre, as a developer, magpo-focus, magre-rely ka lang doon sa mga binigay na, okay, ito yung scope, ito lang dapat gawin. Kaya lang, pag nandun na sa testing phase, andyan na papasok, ay, nakaligta namin yung scenario na to. So, tendency is gagalawin yung code. So, which is ang mangyayari, sasabog na siya. Kasi, small tweak can really affect the whole code. So yun sa mga mabigat na challenges talaga.
Dun sir sa present mo kanina na key roles in RPA. Ano yung mga entry level careers doon para sa mga gustong mag-shift in RPA field, no?
Usually yung dalawang nauna na sinabi ko, yung RPA business analyst at yung RPA developer. Yan.
Ayun yung usual, no?
Parang stepping stone siya.
Yeah. Apo. Did ba sir ng certifications para sa mga entry level na RPA roles?
It will depend sa company Kasi yon, for example, yung company nagre-require sila ng certification or or willing to train sila. So ayun, depende sa it will depend din sa company kung may ino-offer silang training. For example, nung nag-start naman kasi ako mag-RPA is wala naman akong idea sa RPA, pero yung company na una kong pinasukan is nagbibigay sila ng training. So grab ko lang opportunity. So ayun. So it will depend. Yung mga company na nagre-require, meron namang hindi.
Mhm. So ayun, speaking of training na sinabi ni Sir, no, in case yung company nyo is hindi tagdan, what do you call this? Wait. Hindi mag-provide ng free training. Meron kaming training na i-offer wherein si Sir Marvin po ang ating resource speaker or trainer natin. Focus po ito on hands-on na pag-create ng RPA. Then, ang schedule po natin is on September 12, 19, and 26, Saturdays, 9 to 6 p.m. Online live training via Zoom, Google Meet. Ito po yung matututunan natin doon. Learn what is RPA and how it works. Understand the value proposition of RPA. Work with RPA and AI. Extract and write data using RPA. Control flow, web automation, debug, and error handling, best practices. Gagamitin po natin dito is UiPath, no? Sabi nga ni Sir, ayun daw yung tingin niya, pinaka the best na RPA tool. Okay? So, if you're interested, you can message our Facebook page for this training kung gusto nyo po. Question pa? We have another question, Sir. So, prerequisite before engaging in RPA, Sir. Ano kaya mga prerequisite natin na skills and knowledges?
Okay. So, yung programming skills, it's good to have. Like, kunwari, sanay ka sa mga VB.NET, C#, it's good to have, but not required. Kasi nga, as mentioned, most RPA tool is drag and drop lang. So, nabanggit ko kanina sa training, sa deck is that hindi kailangan ng extensive programming skills. Yeah, nag-start ako, hindi rin naman ako familiar sa mga programming na Java, C#. Yeah. Hindi naman ako familiar sa mga yun din. Nung nag-start ako mag-RPA.
Mahalaga, Sir, yung mga office tools. At least may knowledge man lang.
Yep. Saka yung logic, kasi logic is something na hindi maituturo eh. Parang any programming language yan, maituturo, maaral naman yan. Pero yung the way you think, yun yung yun yung importante dito. So not necessary na kailangan gantong programming skills meron ka. No, hindi naman it's good to have. Yeah.
May question pa ba tayo? Wala na so far.
Hello? May isa pa, may isang humabol, si Sir Nay Villarosa. So sabi niya, possible din ba na mag-resume ang isang process na naputol dahil nag-brownout or system error?
Pag nag-brownout, out of scope na ni robot eh. Pero once na nag-error naman, it depends sa error handling na ginawa ng developer. So for example, at the middle of the process, nag-error. So let's say nag-down yung server or hindi makita yung link, yung website na binuksan ni RPA is hindi na ma-access. So ang mangyayari nun is supposed to be dapat meron siyang error handling to notify yung mga user or yung mga agent na hey, yung required system or required application is down. Can you please check? Something like that.
Makikita, meron ba tayo, Sir, parang audit log sa UiPath? Like
Yes,
sa AA, no?
Yep, meron.
Ayun pala, isa rin pala akong AA, RPA na certified. Medyo, siguro madali kasi may programming background, pero it's a good to have knowledge, no, sa RPA. Burnout siguro kapag may power pa si bot runner natin, mag-run pa rin yung bot, tama ba, Sir?
Yes. As long magra-run pa rin siya as long na basta may power yung machine na
nag-run ng bot, no? Okay. Um, so, ayun, see you sa September 12, 19 and 26 sa mga gustong ma-engage dun sa hands-on activities. No, tuturuan kayo kung paano mag-develop ng sarili nyong mga bots. Ano pa sir matututunan nila doon?
Yes, at the end of that training, we will do a simple robot na as if nagawa tayo ng parang end-to-end process. Paano ba uh, na, na pwede nating somehow na make possible na kamukha ng mga processes na ginagawa natin sa mga organization natin.
Mm-hmm. Ano pa ba? Prerequisite sir dun sa training nyo. May prerequisite ba tayo?
Ano lang, wala naman. Basta, yun lang, willingness to learn or to explore. Yun yung kailangan talaga. Yes. Again,
Ito, sir,
ulitin ko lang, programming language is good to have but not required in RPA.
Mm-hmm. Possible po ba sir, ito may question si Excel, Belda. Possible ba na magamit si RPA? For example, sa voice password na naka-unlock ng device?
Voice password.
Ano sa tingin nyo?
I think hindi ko pa siya na-try. That's hindi ko sure kung may capability si RPA about sa voice pero I think wala pa so far. So kasi voice siya eh. Yeah.
Sir, ando po yung may last question si Tracy. Difference how related is OCR and RPA po?
So si OCR is sige, gamitin ko na lang example si UiPath kasi si UiPath is meron siyang parang partnership, something like that sa mga Microsoft OCR kasi for example, yung isang invoice scan siya, no? Alam naman natin scan yung invoice na yon. So kailangan nating makuha yung invoice number. So since scan siya, image siya eh. So parang image processing. Doon ginagamit ni RPA si OCR para makuha yung invoice number since scan yung file na ino-automate niya.
Parang sa AA no, yung screen recorder natin.
Yes, correct.
Smart screen recorder. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again, sir. Dave.
Okay.
Hello,
So, thank you everyone.
Hello, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you've had a great time. I hope marami kayo natutunan kay Engineer Marvin. And yeah, we hope na marami din kami na input sa inyo. And yeah. So, gusto lang din namin i-plug yung website namin, Appcademia. We are an Filipino online learning platform. You can learn a lot of courses depending on which you like. Sa ngayon, hindi pa siya ganun ka-various, pero in the coming months, abangan nyo yan. Madami na kaming ilalagay na courses from different fields. Hindi lang sa technical, kahit sabihin pa natin sa music, photography, you name it. And yeah, this is Appcademia presenting to you the Robotics Processing Automation. Pakilala ka ulit kayo, sir. Hello? Hello?
Hello, yes, Dave. Yes, Dave.
Yeah. So, pakilala na lang kayo din ulit para makilala din po, para ma-finalize yung identity niyo sa kanila.
Sir Marvin, baka may kayo, any closing remarks before we end?
Or plugging. Sige lang, sir.
Wala naman. But thank you. Yun lang. Thank you for your time. Again, long weekend ngayon. Masarap magpahinga pero still you join us. So thank you so much. And I hope you learn something, especially yung mga kung wala pang idea sa RPA.
Yes.
Makikita naman nila to sa Facebook replay, no? And sa YouTube channel na to, pwede nilang balik-balikan if ever. Huh? All right. So again, thank you, Engineer Marvin Bersabal and
Thank
our
you.
co-founder of Academia, Dave, and ako po.
Hello.
Yan. Yan. Thank you and see you sa susunod na mga webinars natin. And sa training po, sana maka-attend kayo sa training ni Sir Marvin. Marami kayong matututunan for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So bye-bye and good afternoon sa
Maraming
ating
salamat. Bye-bye.
po.